Nancy Pelosi and President Trump faced off this week. It didn't end very well. And Elizabeth Warren's wealth tax is facing increasing scrutiny. As Congress and his constituents mourn the passing of Elijah Cummings, we will ask, what is the impact of the loss?
Here with insight into all of this is The Hill's editor-in-chief, Bob Cusack. He joins us now with the debrief. Welcome, sir.
Good morning.
So Elijah Cummings' unexpected and untimely death yesterday. His loss is going to be felt in any number of ways, certainly in Baltimore, but also across the country. Such a champion, but specifically on the issue of impeachment and these continuing investigations that are being conducted in the House into the president. What is the impact going to be, and who's going to step into his role?
Cummings was a giant in Baltimore. I went to college in Baltimore, and he's just an icon there. Icon on Capitol Hill and the House Democratic Caucus.
Certainly, yeah.
Was beloved, was a very good spokesperson, I thought, when he went on the Sunday shows. And he had been ailing in recent years.
He had credibility.
He did. And he obviously, President Trump, they did not get along. But that means he was effective because he was able to get under Trump's skin. So this is a giant loss. Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney will take over as oversight chair, but it's hard to imagine the House Democratic Caucus without Cummings. He really was a respected. He wasn't a backslapper. Yeah. If you interviewed him, he would get right to the point.
Yeah.
And sometimes would be a little gruff with you. But he would always answer the questions.
Yeah, and like Crystal said, his loss will be felt, and especially as things move forward. It's like you said, when he was on the Sunday shows, you could at least trust what he was saying.
Yes, so you could absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
So we also have this, this Twitter, the Pelosi and Trump showdown. So, Bob, just break it down for us. What has been the aftermath of after this big meeting? What was it, even originally it was about Syria, but I think it turned into like a showdown about everything else.
It did. Trump is certainly on edge now with impeachment. And remember, the Nancy Pelosi-Trump relationship at one point was quite nice.
Pretty good, yeah.
He didn't give her a nickname.
That's
he was very polite to her.
Yeah.
But now she's moving forward with impeachment. And she had said earlier that day they had a big vote that rebuked what Trump has done on Syria. And most of Republicans, including all Republican leaders, had voted with the Democrats to rebuke Trump. Pelosi mentioned that. And that set him off, and then called her a third-rate or third-grade
depending
speaker, depending on who you're talking to. Right. And then they stormed out. Remember, last time, a while back, it was Trump who stormed out. So I can't see, getting a trade deal like USMCA. How is that going to get done in this environment? It's almost impossible.
Well, and I guess that's the question: is this just a show? We've had a number of these sort of blow-ups that the media fixates on. Does it have reverberations, or is it just like the drama and spectacle of the moment?
I think both bases in a way like it. Certainly Trump's base likes. He likes mixing it up and going after Pelosi. The left certainly, I think, likes going after Trump. I think there are a lot of people in the middle who are just sick of all this fighting and sick of Washington doing nothing, and and that's the danger for Democrats, is that sick of investigations. And if impeachment, yesterday Nancy Pelosi said the truth line is the timeline, would not commit to doing impeachment this year, which I do think she'll do, but that's an issue that if it goes into 2020, it's too long.
Wow,
that's
interesting.
Yeah, that is a big development, and that's the thing, though, right? Is when they won the House, they were like, "No, we're going to do healthcare, HR 1, all this other stuff. Like, we're not going to focus purely on this." And instead, realistically, that is actually what they've spent the majority of the time on. They don't really have a record that they can run on.
Well, and I was also just reading a report that if there is a trial in the Senate that goes on weeks and weeks, that means these Democrats who are in the Senate running for president, they're stuck in Washington. They can't campaign.
They are stuck there, and that's going to be an issue. And if Democrats don't win in 2020, that's what they're going to be saying. Wait a minute, 2018 we stressed health care and agenda, and then we were kind of baited into impeachment. That's if they lose in 2020.
Right.
They think they're going to win.
If they win, then
everything was the right.
Yes.
We'll see. So then the EU ambassador, he testified yesterday on Capitol Hill for what, like 20 hours?
A long time.
9 hours. But what did we learn ultimately? There's all these officials are rolling up to Capitol Hill. What's the actual story behind
Well, Gordon Sondland testified, as you said, a long time. Remember, he's a big Trump mega donor. So this is not a career diplomat. This is someone. The testimony we got mixed results. Some Democrats said he was not credible. Others, Democrats like Eliot Engel, who's the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, said he was credible. And all roads point to Rudy Giuliani. That's what everybody is talking about. Mark Meadows told our reporters yesterday, I'm trying to not decide on this until I hear from all the witnesses, specifically on Rudy Giuliani. So certainly, Sondland and other diplomats were bothered by Giuliani's role in this. And this is, and then you had Mick Mulvaney had a very rough day yesterday. And, it really is helping the Democrats' case on impeachment because each person who testifies gives a new clue. And then it's drip, drip, drip. And that's why I think Trump, he's kind of trapped a bit, and he feels it. And you saw that at his rally last night, too, that he's going after Democrats, he's going after Pelosi, but he's always done that, but now he's bringing it up to a new level.
Interesting. And do we think Giuliani's going to testify? I mean, what's going to happen there? And how are
I asked him.
He
didn't commit to it.
And behind the scenes, how are Republicans feeling about, are they comfortable with him? How are they feeling about him? I don't
think they're comfortable with him, but I do think the Republican strategy of, hey, this is all secret, and why aren't you releasing all the transcripts? Why are only a few members allowed to see? I think that works. I think people want to say, be transparent. Now, Democrats have said there will be open testimony. We haven't seen it yet. But at the same time, when you see it, that could actually make things worse for Trump. This is all behind closed doors for now. But I do think the Republican strategy now is we don't know what else is coming out, so we just have to go after Democrats for being too secretive.
And interestingly enough, this morning, the Washington Post reporting that there was a career diplomat testified that he actually raised the Hunter Biden concern with Vice President Biden's office and was told the Vice President, quote, didn't have the bandwidth to deal with it. A career staffer on Ukraine. So you don't know what's going to come out, right, Bob? It's when you start digging into this was the concern from the very beginning is it could all come out and nobody ends up looking particularly
good. That's right. And Republicans are going to be talking about the Biden controversy. And it could, at the trial, Republicans could be talking about, they can bring witnesses.
And subpoena power, right?
And subpoena power, yes. And that's part of the reason why Nancy Pelosi did not do the impeachment inquiry, because that could have given Republicans subpoena power in the House.
Right.
Yeah, interesting. Matt Taibbi is actually making the case that this whole Ukraine gate stuff actually is helping Biden because it's kind of protecting him from criticism in a certain way with the media and with his fellow candidates. I don't know, an interesting thing to keep an eye on. At the same time, the Hill's looking at Warren's wealth tax. She's now, in this sort of front-runner role and facing new scrutiny. What are you finding?
Well, she is, the debate clearly showed that at least the other Democrats think she's the front-runner. And she was attacked for her tax plan, which goes after net worth, not just income. So $50 million is called the 2-cent tax, and sometimes people will say that at rallies. They'll chant it because now this idea is popular in the polls. It's not popular on Capitol Hill. I think it would be very hard to, if she were to become president,
but this is
to get
one
this
of
through.
The most popular proposals of any of the candidates. It polls well, and not just with Democrats. This is a high polling idea across
with Republicans
lines.
as well.
Yeah.
So, but she has to sell it, and of course, it was under attack by other Democrats, including Yang and Buttigieg. Buttigieg is going after Warren because he senses his opportunity to get some of those Biden. Speaking of Biden, he needs a commanding debate performance because he has not had that yet, and I don't know if it's going to happen just because he's sharp at times and then he's not sharp.
I'm not sure. I know there's also some practical implications. But the key point that you're making there is that all of these proposals actually have to get passed on Capitol Hill.
Yes.
It's not an easy feat, right? And so I actually am curious. Have any of these, like Warren in particular, with all these plans, I don't think she's ever explained how she actually would get them passed.
Well, she struggled the other night, and I think she had an okay debate night because she was taking incoming. But at the same time, she's got to have a clear answer for how she's going to pay for Medicare for all. Something that does not even have close to the votes to passing right now, or even if Democrats win back the Senate, they would not have the votes for Medicare for all.
And here's my thing. I think on issues like that, it's less important exactly what your answer is and more important that she looked like a frickin' politician trying to avoid answering the question. That's the impression that is left. So whether you think, middle-class taxes or a wealth tax or whatever is the right way to pay for Medicare for all, you got to figure it out and have a clear answer so you're not just because every debate she's getting hit with this.
Yeah.
Every interview
And
she's
she
getting
just
hit with
won't
this.
say it. Bernie
and
was
she
like,
looks
yeah, it'll go up.
evasive.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
He was like, yeah, it'll go up. Costs will go down.
Yeah,
Done.
and he's been taking the income because it is, as he says, his damn bill.
Yeah.
But now she is basically the front runner or co-front runner, and so I think she's got. I totally agree with you, Crystal. She's got to have an answer that's not evasive, and she's been totally evasive on that.
Yeah.
She's got to have it soon. I think within the next couple
She's
weeks.
getting hit from the left and from the right on this because the left is saying, okay, are you really with Bernie because you're calling this a framework? You're not filling in the details. Seems like you're leaving yourself some wiggle room. And then the right, of course, is hitting her in the way that Delaney and Pete and the moderators and everybody else continue to go
And if
after
she
her.
wins the nomination, this is a huge issue in the
Massive.
general.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll have more Rising for you right after this.